My name is Lolo Puzzlo, and this is Media Delta. Alright, so this is going to be, I feel like I've said this a lot with these last couple episodes, but this is going to be a weird one because the thing that we're covering today is not necessarily anything that's directly based on a video game. And this actually was a follower count reward for my Twitch. I believe at 425 or 400. No, it was 425. I said that I would do a Media Delta episode on Ashens and the Quest for the Gamechild, which is a kind of interesting little bit of film in that I don't know if it's like tied into kind of streaming. Well, it's not tied into streaming, but in terms of like web-based content. Ashens, that being Stuart Ashens, is kind of one of the first, I would say, big kind of video game tech kind of YouTubers. Started, I think.
Ashens, am I right?
I'm sure he gets that all the time and probably hates it. But yeah, so he's been around, I think it was like 2007, 2008. He's been around for a long time. And he got enough popular, or like he got big enough that he warranted him making a movie with the help of Barmania, which I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. I hope that's close. But yeah, this was a movie that came out 2013 with a budget of around 1,800 or 180,000 US dollars, which is not a lot, to say the least. And it's a movie about Ashens looking for the Gamechild, or a Gamechild, which was a LCD based Game Boy knockoff that isn't really good. It's also not that rare, but that for the sake of the movie, it is. Yeah, that's kind of what the general gist of the movie is. I am not the only one who watched this, so please introduce yourselves in alphabetical order.
Hi, I'm Axe, and I'm here for old video game relics.
Idiot, it's pronounced Keolio. Get it right. You have to put the emphasis on the I's. Japanese.
Hi, I'm Real Serial Bear, and I back this with actual money.
Hi, I'm Torpotypus, and I'm here for dated references to niche internet celebrities.
Yes.
Actually, I just
Good.
realized it sounded like I backed this podcast with money. I didn't pay Lolo money. I paid for the movie. For
I mean,
Ashens.
Lolo in friendship.
Anyway, so yes, this is a movie based on an internet celebrity. Needless to say, this is definitely a movie that I think is its target audience and it's meant to be familiar with one Stuart Ashens.
No shit.
No.
Which I kind of forgot about because I remember watching this when it came out. I think I might have backed it and just kind of forgot about it, but I remember being interested when it came out. So let's start with someone who hasn't watched this or isn't familiar and how that worked. So who wants to go first?
How much do you know about the person? What?
What?
I think
What did you say?
Axe, why don't you go first?
So I'm guessing I'm the one of the group who knows the least.
Probably.
All I've
'Cause
seen is him eat bad food and play with terrible toys.
Okay, so yeah, you know more about him than I do. All right, so I mean, I don't want to go too hard on it because again, this kind of comes into the same problem that I sort of had with Mr. Lawrence, and that is, well, with Mr. Lawrence, it was that I didn't have subtitles. With this, it's that I didn't have context. I didn't know who Ashens was. I didn't know who anybody in this film was. Anything other than like direct video game jokes really didn't land for me. I forget which joke actually I did like. I did like one of the jokes, but I've already forgotten.
Simon Pegg one.
Was okay, yeah, the Simon Pegg. That's probably it. Like, and that I think is kind of indicative of where I am with this movie. Is that it was very forgettable. It wasn't very funny, at least to me. It's your standard, famous YouTuber or famous content creator type film where it's dredged in the in jokes and the whatever lore that certain person has built up around their personality over the years. And unfortunately, I'm just not the target audience for this particular film. There was some bits to like, and there was obviously a lot of effort put into it. But ultimately, like, I did not find it enjoyable. In fact, I probably would have gone back to watch Rock and Rule than this. But that was again, it comes with that huge asterisk of it's just not my thing, which I get to finally say instead of Lola saying it with movies that I like.
Or you'll get to hear it again soon enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like I did try to give it a chance. So I did watch the whole thing. And I didn't really rail on it too hard, I don't think. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's cringe. It was awkward, but like it definitely missed some of the problems that you usually get with these kinds of projects. Thinking about Channel Awesome. But for the project that it is, like I think it's effective, at least at what it's trying to do, without slipping into the problematic zones that you sometimes get with stuff like this. So I want to give it credit for that, at least. The jokes really weren't funny, and the awkwardness just really kind of made them suck a little bit more. But I mean, it's an average film. It was all right. Obviously, there was not much acting happening because it didn't seem like anybody was really an actor, even like a fledgling. It's just everybody kind of cobbled together to do this film.
Well, there's
Have you know Warwick Davis is an actor?
Okay,
How dare
Warwick
you.
Davis. That's the joke. That was the one. The Warwick
Yes.
Davis bit. That was it. That was the one that made me laugh.
Oh, I'm definitely.
Yeah. But I'm talking like the general cast. I'm not talking, your and then also it did have Robert Llewellyn, who I'm a big fan of because of his work on Red Dwarf. So I mean, there's Warwick Davis and Robert Llewellyn, two really good actors. But outside of them, the main cast, the focus, was very, very awkward, very bland. Especially Ashens, who delivered his lines with as much joy and emphasis as somebody who just staring into headlights, I guess.
Okay, but that's because that part is his entire shtick, which is obviously hard to say if you're like watching it if you're not familiar with the character. But yeah, I think that's intentional.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but even still, like I said, it's not my thing. And I think that's really all I've got to say about it.
all right. Does anyone want to? How about one of the others who had seen this before and were a little bit more familiar with Ashens?
I'll go.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, Ashens and the Quest for the Gamechild. It is kind of a strange movie. It is like I said, it is a movie for people who are in the know. And I have watched Ashens for quite a long time, probably not since the start, but a very long time. So you get to kind of clue into the references, like where does Chef Excellence come from, and the Silver Skull, and all that, which kind of adds the context that you need to kind of say, oh yeah, it's that thing from that one review. It's like, yeah, that's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I get that it's not going to be a movie for everyone, because first of all, if you don't know the references of from the Ashens channel, you're gonna lose out on half of the humor. If you're not into the type of delivery that Stewart does, then that's another point off. And yeah, awkward humor is another thing. Personally, I kind of like awkward humor if it's done right, and if it's not like overbaked, such as Mike Myers likes to overmake his awkward humor a little bit. But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. It's a bit meandering sometimes though. Like you get some cuts from like side scenes that basically have nothing to do with anything, and that one is like it's like we're just kind of trailing off for no reason. It feels more like filler than anything else. But I don't know. I enjoy it. It's not an excellent movie. It is kind of a nice treat for people in the know, and I don't really have anything else to say about it.
All right. How about Barry? You were also. Why don't we go with you?
Sure. So yeah, I've been watching Ashens for a while. I don't remember exactly when because he's been on YouTube since YouTube existed, probably. So, um, but I mostly know him for retro tat reviews, and I kind of feel like this movie doesn't really play to his strengths because the entire idea of his humor is he kind of sits down and reviews Tat, and in a lot of cases, um, he kind of does impromptu humor by seeing stuff for the first time. Like he sees like a really bad game or like a really bad device, and he just like makes snarky jokes about it. And he's really good at that. He's gotten really good at that. But this is more scripted humor, and I feel it doesn't feel like him and the other writer of this movie actually understand why people like his stuff on YouTube because it feels like it's people like my Tat reviews, so I'm gonna make a movie about Tat and snarky slapstick humor, but it doesn't feel like it plays to that. He doesn't seem like he's that good of a scripted actor because a lot of his deliveries fall flat and a lot of the jokes fall flat in my opinion, and it falls flat in a way which I've seen pretty common when people who are really good at improvised jokes, and when they try to make an intentional joke, it's really bad. Case in point, me. So uh, I'm definitely like familiar with that struggle, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's actually that funny. Like I love the guy, and I don't mind backing this movie, but there were maybe like four or five jokes, and that's in a movie that just has rapid fire jokes all the time that were actually entertaining. It doesn't help that it's also just, a YouTuber movie. So a lot of the actors are YouTube influencers who don't really know how to act.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I going back at it, it's definitely a movie for people who are in the know. I definitely agree with that. But like even somebody who is in the know, like when I watched it the first time, so I watched it when it released in 2013, I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. It was pretty alright. But going back to it now, it essentially has the like I wouldn't even call it student film. I would call it like local direct to TV movie stuff. Like it's not even like a direct to TV movie. It's just like there's a random TV station and somewhere
My
like in a small
public
town and a
access
movie.
channel.
Kind of like
Yeah,
the energy of like your local like one of those commercials from like a local station.
Yeah, public
yeah,
access.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's fine because this is obviously a movie on an extremely tight budget, but
Boundly budget for a movie.
yeah, but you can have a movie in a budget and
No,
have the
they.
jokes be
I
good.
will say this. Even if it wasn't the funniest, they at least worked. They made their budget work.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think they seem to have planned out everything how they wanted it to play out. Obviously, I don't know because I'm not privy to the production, but it fit everything they wanted to fit. But I just think they missed the tone of why people enjoy Ashens, and it's kind of ironic that it's Ashens. He's known for having like flat, snarky British humor delivery on everything, but he's definitely not like doing the same brand of flat British humor that he does on his videos. It just feels like scripted, and because it is, obviously. But it just doesn't feel like it feels like it needs more ad lib. It feels like it needs to be a bit more loose. And some of the jokes go on for a smidge too long. Like the pacing of all jokes is here's a setup, and then we're just gonna keep hammering it, hammering it, hammering it, and then everybody's gonna stare in awkward silence because they acknowledge it's an awkward joke, and then they move on with their life. Like for example, the spoon joke that just keeps going on for God knows how long. But yeah, that's basically my take on all of this.
Yeah, I do
Pretty
want to
sure
mention
they're-
real quick that Ashens also doesn't really use awkward humor, at least in my experience with
Sometimes he does.
Yeah.
not to
it's-
the extent that this film did.
No.
He, it feels like a lot of this like captures the beats that he does in his because like the skull and the chef excellence. He likes throwing in like random humor like that in his videos. And it works there because it's pretty snappy delivery, but it just doesn't work here. It's like this has all the components of a funny Ashens YouTube video, but it has none of the execution of it.
Yeah, like especially because a lot of Ashens video is the thing about the Ashens video is that a lot of it is like looking at whatever the thing he's looking at and him critiquing it, and then the bit is usually like a percentage of that video. And it's just that there's been a lot of different things, and this feels like that like 5% of the videos, just a bunch of those excised from videos and just stitched together with a plot.
Yeah, essentially it is that. I almost wonder if he should have made a video which had more of the Gamechild there. Like it feels like, oh, I'm searching for the Gamechild, but I almost wish the entire video was no, he has the Gamechild, but it just keeps expanding and how ridiculous of a device it is.
Yeah, because like they tried to do that at the end with it being like something for a nuclear bomb, but
It was a
out of
nuclear bomb.
nowhere.
oh, that's right, it was.
It was a nuclear bomb, which is why I threw it away because it was now worth something.
That
was-
joke was actually funny.
That was
Yeah.
that one was good. There were a handful of good jokes, and that was definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. All right. Well, Torpo, what did you think?
It was okay. That's my review. It was okay. Honestly, I've seen a handful of Ashens videos, mostly, actually, not even mostly, just his stupid couch reviews of like shitty food he's been sent, shitty old food, or some garbage he bought at Poundland, and that's the extent of my experience with him. So going into this, I didn't know what to expect. Came out just like, it was okay. A lot of it was lost on me. A lot of the jokes were really not terribly good. There were a handful, uh, like Warwick Davis fucking appearing out of nowhere. That was all right. Though my favorite was mostly because I had joked about it at the start of the film, which was like, man, he looks like an off-brand Simon Pegg.
Mhm.
And then later on in the film, someone actually just makes a joke about him looking like Simon Pegg.
I think that's like I'm pretty sure during like a Q&A something of that he like that is like one of the things that he hates most is people saying, "Oh, hey, you look like Simon Pegg."
And
It's
then there was
just
also there was also some discussion in the group about the other person. I don't know what their name is, kind of being the off-brand Nick Frost.
Yeah, but yeah, so like it's essentially because the jokes are so rapid fire, it's kind of inevitable that at least some will hit, and there were some pretty all right ones, but overall a lot of it was lost on me for me. But it was okay. It wasn't great. Wasn't You know what? It wasn't as terrible as I thought it might be. I will say that. That is the kindest thing I can say about it.
I think it might be one of the better YouTuber movies out there, considering what the competition has been doing.
Yeah, I was genuinely worried it would be too fucking niche, which it was still pretty niche, but not to the degree I was expecting. So
Yeah.
I was at least some of the jokes were able to land at least.
It's actually kind of funny because Axe actually referenced it, and I was curious to when the 3 different Channel Awesome movies had come out. All 3 of them had come out by this point. To Boldly Flee came out in 2012, and this blows all 3 of those away. Well, I've only seen one of them, but I know what to expect of those others, and I can definitely say that this is probably better than all of them.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is kind of plays into what Torpid was just saying. Is expectations about the film, and having been mostly exposed to stuff like Channel Awesome, I honestly did go into this thinking it was going to be extremely cringy, and I'm actually kind of glad that they stayed. Like I said, they stayed away from some of the more crappy stuff, and even if stuff didn't land, it didn't hurt when it didn't land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, there was nothing actually offensive at the
Uh,
very least.
There's
Or
that
up
bit.
the post-credit scene a bit,
The
but
post-
yes.
Oh,
Okay,
like-
yes, the post-cred scene was fucking terrible. I will give you that. And it's like they even knew it was terrible because there was a warning that it wasn't great.
I don't even
But other
remember
than
it.
that, everything before that point though was pretty all right.
The thing is that when I watched it, when I realized what the scene was going to be, I closed it out because it's like, nope, I already have.
Oh
I-
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
no,
right, it was the
post-credits
mental-
is really bad.
It was the
Yes.
mental institution thing. Okay, now
Yeah.
I'm remembering.
Also, the ending kind of was a little weird about the lady, but
Yeah.
that is, yeah, that was relatively tame, I guess, compared to that
It was
ending bit.
more tame than I expected, I guess is what I'm saying. For what is
Yeah.
British niche internet humor, the film.
Yes.
Just internet humor in general, because
It
you
was
saw
really great though, because we were all in agreement that that post credits bit really didn't exist at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that was no.
Yeah, no, it was an okay film. I didn't love it, didn't hate it though, which I guess is something.
It has made me curious though, because I watched a sequel to this movie because of a sequel, but I don't remember anything about it. So I'm curious how the sequel actually has aged, because I remember this one being okay, and then I watched it, and I feel it's less okay than I remember it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that sequel is actually that I completely, just because passage of time has been such a thing, that came out 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Ow.
like, I thought that came out like 4 years ago. Like, it came out a while ago. It's like, no, that came out like 2 years ago. I have the Blu ray for it, and I still haven't watched it yet.
It won a bunch of like small film festival awards, so I assume it's not bad, probably. Who knows?
Yeah. Like, if they took lessons from the first one and, like, tried to make it a little more general, then maybe it actually might be decent. I don't know. I have not seen it.
I don't know how general it is if Mr. Weeble's in it.
This was true, but I'd imagine that it's still going to be like it's an Ashens movie, so it's probably going to be still a little bit to that. But maybe they got, I don't know. I'll have to see.
I have not seen it myself either.
But
I
man,
do-
even this film had references to other niche British YouTubers, like
Yeah.
there was a poster for Harry Partridge and one for Wheel.
That was actually a thing I was going to bring up when I was going to about the thing that I was kind of cringing because I haven't watched this since it came out, so it's been almost a decade since I'd watched it. And I was looking at the cast list, and I'm like, there's Film Brain, there's who else was it? There's
Or Larry.
Guru Larry's the major one, but also there's two other, I think, YouTubers that were in that scene, which it was kind of a weird asylum thing.
It was a prison.
Yeah, it was like a
it was supposed
prison.
to be like a Silence of the Lambs type parody.
Yeah, it's straight up with someone saying, I forgot what they said, but it was, I smell you something. Like it was, I smell your
I
cologne.
can
It was
smell your thoughts.
smell your thoughts, yes.
It wasn't like
Right.
the one dude kind of not okay.
Yeah, so Guru Larry Bunder Jr. Is kind of the person that they're going for in there. He has been a major friend of Ashens since he started, because they kind of started around the same time. Guru Larry was like also one of the OG YouTubers, like gaming YouTubers, and he has kind of come out to be not that great of a person. Very big into Gamergate. Just kind of also was responsible for harassing, if I remember correctly.
Big chud
Lovely.
energy.
Very much so.
The thing with that is a lot of people in the UK retro gaming scene, they basically all know each other in terms of like the major influencer. So it's not really surprising to me that they would be there, like NerdCube, as in the sequel in the movie. So it's just if you're British, if you're into gaming, and you're a YouTuber slash streamer, you're likely going to be in these kind of major collaborations. It's not like the US where people more like know each other rather than you don't have a unified American US retro gaming scene. It's more just like, oh, if people happen to know each other, whereas in the UK it's much easier to be connected.
Yeah. Because also I just actually thinking of Gamergate because this came out in 2013, and it's like, oh, that was just the year before. He probably started to really show his more negative traits.
Well, that was the
I
year
mean,
before it actually took
Yeah.
off, because I believe it was mid 2014 that
Yes.
happened.
it started taking off from 2012, and then it got its official name like a year later, I believe. But
Yeah. But yes, it was right around that time where it started to really balloon.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like that one scene is like pretty much the major, that and like the Harry Partridge little animated bit are like the really only like major referential to other YouTubers kind of thing. And even in that, they kind of make that, the way they framed it kind of at least made a little sense. It's not like the Channel Awesome ones where it is 100% that all the time.
Yeah, because the Channel Awesome stuff is a lot more wrapped up in the zaniness, because a lot of their skits were all zany and sort of like exaggerations, whereas this was trying to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more like there was parody to it, but it wasn't heavy-handed. It wasn't, it wasn't, wacky. It was British.
Yes.
yes, to an extent. I mean, it is very British because it's made in Britain and the writers are all British and all that jazz. But I think when people say British humor, it's like there's snark in it, but I think this also leans a lot into the awkward humor, and that's not usually a thing there. That's more of an internet thing.
Yeah, it also didn't help that for the Channel Awesome stuff, those are mostly written by Rob and Doug Walker, who have a certain
It explains a lot.
yes, they have one joke and they use it all the time, which is being bad. Anyway, I my thoughts on it is like again, I watched this originally when it came out, and I thought it was pretty much, it was okay. Like it was, I was afraid that it was going to be kind of cringy, kind of just kind of that kind of, like I knew it was better than most of those like internet videos, but it's like it's still wasn't, I wouldn't say it's not a bad movie per se, but it's also, I wouldn't say it's like good. Because it's especially like reliant on you being familiar with a lot of his jokes. Although it does have a few jokes that are like general audience can get, but it does feel like it's really rubbing for a particular audience. And yeah, that's yeah, it's, I don't really have much else to say about it. I am curious about the Polybius heist, just to see how that is compared to this.
Yeah. Also, it's nice how he stuck Minsky in at the end. Which is also another kind of in joke with the channel itself. Like, there's a picture of a bald bearded man that occasionally will show up on his channel.
Yeah.
That's Minsky. And he does show up at the end just before the credits.
Yeah, because it's like the first time that he's out. Because I thought it was it's just the picture in the videos. It's not the actual person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they actually got the person, which is pretty good.
Bold move to include their rap party in the fucking film.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
Was.
I think it worked. I think
Yeah.
it honestly did work out pretty well in context.
It reminds me of some of the weirder celebrity movies like Spice World, where at the end there's just like them like being completely out of character and just hanging in the credits.
God, that movie sucked ass though.
The last 5 minutes of that movie were pretty funny though.
Yeah, I will agree on that.
I'm trying to think. God, I was trying to think of other movies that did that, but yeah. I guess with that, did anyone have any other thoughts they wanted to say, or are we good to rank this?
Will say, because I've been thinking about it since the budget was mentioned, that I am impressed that I'm impressed with what they did with their budget, and also I think it's kind of funny that it was made on just about half the budget of the Evil Dead one.
Yeah, I'm curious because what was the budget for Clerks?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Budget. That was 27,000. So
Wow.
2,700 or 27,000 US dollars. But that was also back in '82. So I mean, Clerks had a less budget, but also Ashens definitely had a small budget. Like, I don't think there's really anything you could like. Sure, it's not like garage film, like it's not two people with like a handy cam, but it's still um it's still very small for a movie of this scale.
Well, he definitely showcased his connections because like I said, he was able to get Warwick Davis and Robert Llewellyn, and they're not like bottom tier actors; they're known names. So I wonder how much of that 180,000 went to the two of them.
Yeah, just for reference for what Warwick Davis was doing at this time, he was in an episode of Doctor Who. I think he was doing his show that was talking about his life at that point, like how the show Life's Too Short. He had done pretty much all of the Harry Potter movies at that point. So he definitely wasn't just like, he was not like, a small, he was not a like very niche actor.
I think also I'm double checking because he also was on series 3. Oh yeah. No, this was a year before. Okay, so this was a year after, but this was in 2012 he joined Carl Pilkington for a few episodes of An Idiot Abroad.
Yeah, it was also a very good use of him. That seems really good. So yeah, did anyone have any other thoughts?
No, I'm good.
All right, I will take that as a sign that we're good to rank. So we're gonna rank this using our 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute, like about as good as you can get, to 21 being absolute garbage, not even like ironically fun to watch. Or at least very little ironic fun to watch. Axe, what is your score?
All right, so I know early in the episode I did say that I would rather watch Rock and Rule, but looking at the list, that's down at 14, and I couldn't put it down there. It's not that bad, and to be quite honest, it feels more like that was just a reactionary statement than it was a factual statement. So I mean, it's a very middle of the road film. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's effective at what it does, but I'm not particularly fond of what it does. So I would put it just right dead in the middle at 11.
All right, cool.
It's an alright movie. It definitely can fall flat with people who are not familiar with Ashens. This movie is honestly not for people who are not familiar with Ashens. I would say, like, even with that, it's kind of hit and miss sometimes, and I would say maybe about 12 to 14.
All right, Bear.
I would put this at 14, especially
All
because
right.
everybody has been saying it's like it has a few okay jokes, but it's just okay, and that's the description of meh.
All right, Torpo.
I was thinking like 13, about on par with GamePro TV.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So I was actually thinking 14. Namely,
I just like that I'm the only one who had absolutely no clue about this, and I'm the highest rank.
It happens sometimes.
I mean, I think it's kind of, we know what to expect. So when it kind of is like, oh, I don't know how these things work. Um, so I mean, if you average it, like, I'd say let's start at 13. Just looking at 13, just because I think it's closer to average. So that in 13 you have GamePro TV and the professional GoGo 13. Um, part of me says that I'd rather watch the professional, though GamePro is really throwing that off. I do kind of feel I don't think it's that much higher because I'm looking at the stuff that we have in 12, which is the 94 Street Fighter movie and the 1990s Turtles movie. I kind of feel like those are weirdly enough saying it, I feel like those are better watches.
I
Uh,
had more fun with them.
yeah.
I
Good.
Raul Julia elevates Street Fighter to high enough levels to be above this. I don't think Warwick Davis can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, also Warwick Davis is
Yeah,
it was
like Roll
really
Julia's
one
and
prolonged joke. It was a good joke, but it was one joke.
yeah, it's like Roll Julia throughout the entire movie, and then like maybe 10 minutes of Warwick Davis. They don't balance out.
But 10 minutes of Raul Julia would probably be as worth as a full movie of Warwick Davis, right?
I mean, from all the Warwick Davis movies I've seen, probably. Like, I mean, I like Return of the Jedi, but also Street Fighter's really. I actually like the Street Fighter movie, so
And we all know your favorite part of the turtle.
they needed to edit that out. Why can you see the guy's mouth inside the mouth? You don't need to see that.
Haunt your dreams every night.
It's
God.
really good. I mean, he's still got the image.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that to some small degree inspired bits of Five Nights at Freddy's, because some of the robots have, like, you could see extra teeth inside.
Maybe, but
It's just how weird and uncomfortable fucking animatronics are. But yeah.
yeah.
That too, yeah.
Let's see. I still feel like 12's a bit high.
I
Yeah.
would
So I'm definitely thinking 13, 14 range. At 14, we have the 1989 Batman, City Hunter, Crouching Tiger, and Dragon, Mega Man Upon a Star, and Rock and Roll.
I mean, personally, I would rather watch this than Mega Man. Well, that.
Well, also Rock and Roll is what we literally just did. Oh,
I think it's very flattering to say that Ashens did as good of a job as Crouching Tiger and Dragon, considering the awards that movie won.
it did, but also that movie is very boring.
yeah.
That's a movie where God. So say also that is a movie where God. Now that I'm thinking about it, the stuff isn't happening of Crouching Tiger. Like comparing the stuff really isn't happening in Ashens compared to that.
Ashens is a more consistent.
Yes.
I feel like they both have semi similar like performances from their cast. Like Crouching Tiger was very just quiet talking, laid back. Nobody was really like emoting much. And you got a fair bit of that, in Ashens. There were some people, members of the cast who were a little more emotive and obviously, a couple levels up. But I mean, like Ashens had the same delivery as Chow Yun Fat.
Man, I will say I never expected to hear that as a sentence. If you had said Chow Yun Fat in Dragon Ball Evolution does as good of a performance as Ashens in this, I would be like, okay, maybe I can see it.
I think there's a difference between, because I feel like that is a style you see a lot, or that from, granted, this is not a lot, but from what I've seen of Chinese cinema, it seems like that kind of style is a lot more common. So that's probably just a culture thing. Versus Ashen's, the kind of quietness, I feel like that just might not be like. There's a difference with how Chow Yun Fat is kind of quiet and like stoic versus maybe someone who's not exactly experienced actor stoic and whose specialty is dry humor stoic. Yeah, it's
The stoic Ashens eating 50-year-old soup on the couch.
yes. I'm surprised we didn't see more of the couch.
I'm
there was
disappointed that the
no
couch isn't there.
couch.
I feel like they like take the couch and like put a gun on it or something. That just kind of seems like something that would happen, but it
It's-
didn't.
Basically, from what I understand, the couch is incredibly ratty, and he keeps having to throw away segments of it.
Yeah.
Someday that couch is just not going to be there anymore.
I thought
I
he
mean,
had
he
to get
already
rid of it.
replaced it once.
As I say, I feel like it's the ship of Theseus problem at this point with that couch.
I'm pretty sure he at one point replaced the entire couch and it caused a storm of people needing to get used to the new couch.
I think I remember that as well.
I'm telling you, it's a ship of Theseus problem.
Okay, I'm just
So
trying to
many
think
parts
of.
of the couch have been replaced. Is it truly the same couch anymore?
It is in
All
our
right.
hearts.
I
All
think
you can give a
14
number.
I think 14 puts it in decent. I mean, Batman's there. Batman 989 is okay.
Yeah, I kind of think that 14 is good.
Yeah, I mostly chose 13 because I feel like Game Pro is a good fit. But yeah,
It. God.
I'm against higher ranks pulling in stuff higher or lower.
yeah,
So
All right, let's just go 14 then.
I
All
fucking
right.
hate the Academy. I hate the
Um,
Academy.
I don't think there's really
White
anything
people.
content worthy. Um,
do you have your Warwick Davis emoji?
I don't have a Warwick Davis emoji. I don't have. There's no Willow emoji. There's no Ewok. Okay. Is there anything we want to call out in music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art?
I will say it's a teensy bit of yikes for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that.
A lowercase y.
I can't
Actually, I
really
should do
say
that.
that, and like, I don't think any of it was like any of those categories were thumbs up. Like at the very minimum, they're empty, and at the worst, they're a thumbs down. Like it just didn't have, like the visuals weren't that great, the jokes weren't that great, the cinematography wasn't that great, the pacing
Problem with the
wasn't great.
jokes is that the quality was all.
Yeah, I don't even remember the music, so I can't even comment on that. But that's
Wasn't
just my
there.
thoughts. Yeah,
I-
that's
So I would say, as far as charm, your mileage may vary because
That'd be the best.
Yes.
Answer, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
idea of if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, you know,
This
it's
is
just
made for a certain individual.
yeah.
even knowing it, some of you haven't really reflected super kindly upon it. So that kind of says a lot.
Or do we put a
Otherwise-
couch emoji and then a
Yes,
Section.
actually. God, I love the difference
What-
between
What the fuck is
emoji
that?
That's a
standards.
bed.
What the?
That's a couch.
That's
It-
not
there's a
couch,
lamp
that's
next-
That's a
bed.
couch.
There's a
That's a
lamp
bed.
next to it.
Why is there a lamp next to it? It's not lamp couch. It's couch.
no. There is no couch emoji. There's only a couch and lamp emoji. I don't know why they do it like this.
But there's a lamp. You have to light your setup.
No, you
This is
don't.
true.
Oh, I
I've
don't have
sat
my
in
lights on.
couches in absolute darkness.
Yeah, I'm in the dark right now. I'm on my
That-
couch.
The fucking
That-
gremlin I am.
Just illuminated by the glow of his monitors.
It's me, the fucking living room goblin, here to haunt your ass.
God.
You're not
Also-
doing tat reviews on your couch, so you don't need a lamp for it. Ashens does.
Or if
Yes.
it just reached for the TV full of static there. Yeah.
God. Okay.
It-
Also, go
He
ahead.
does so many reviews of bootleg gaming systems without backlit screens that he has to just put in like several lamps aimed at the couch.
God.
Buy all the ring lights in the fucking world.
So this is one that it's technically it's not this is not what I intended for, but also it's a charm that I've not actually had to use that often. The one that's labeled shoehorn elements from the game,
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
because it's
Yeah.
like very
Yeah.
much shoehorn stuff from the original reviews.
Yeah, some of those bits were real fucking forced.
I still don't understand the spoon bit.
That one, I don't think there is
Yeah.
one. I think they just wanted to have a
I
spoon
think
bit.
that was just not a good joke.
That was a Matrix joke that was 12 years too late.
Also, I'm pretty sure they were trying to summon the tick.
Uh,
I would have definitely enjoyed it if the tick had shown up.
Also, man, that film had some of the most awkward fucking ham-fisted in a film. I just
Yeah.
want to mention that real quick.
Yep.
I mean,
Also, oh
he,
man,
he hooked up with his ex, so that's at least like somewhat realistic.
also the punch. Can we just talk about the punch real
Oh,
quick?
yes. The one fight scene. Well, technically one of the two fight scenes. That the ex punches the person with the that wanted the game child.
No,
And
get correct. The good ex punches the bad ex because they were both
Yes.
his exes.
yes, the
And
good
it
ex
is
can.
one of the worst acted punches I've ever seen. Cause
It doesn't even go
man,
straight. It goes up and then it comes down,
she
and it's
like fucking whips out her arm and just goes right past her so obviously.
yeah.
It's we had to reverse it, and I played it in like super slow motion, and it's just the worst thing.
But the other thing that gets the things that get it are the punch starts too high and she has to bring it down, so it's very obvious. The other thing is, obviously she's punching past her, she's not going to actually hit her. But the other actress doesn't sell the punch at all. So
Not
it's
even
just
remotely.
yeah, it's just a bunch of really bad decisions come together to make one of the worst effects in the entire film.
I know what you're all talking about. I thought that was the funniest joke in the entire movie.
It really was.
I feel like they took that like 5 times and that was the best one. Or
They're
the
just
worst.
like, fuck it, we'll just keep it.
Yeah, that definitely had the feeling of the fuck it, just keep it.
Actually, what would we put for like really stiff, mediocre acting?
Well, I
Would
guess.
A UK flag. Ho ho ho.
Got him.
take that, Britain.
God,
I imagine that would go under action.
God, yeah. Actually, considering that's meant to be a comedy, do I have
Oh man, these people are obviously not professional actors.
what the? Oh, that's a skateboard. Because I was trying to. Okay, what is?
Some
Wooden
people can
plank?
sell it, but man, a lot of it's real stiff.
Yeah, I was trying to
Mhm.
find a plank or like a board. There doesn't seem to be one. And when I go into wood, it just gives me a wood axe. That's
Little
not
log.
Maybe just
I'm okay with
open that
this.
no log.
Better than bad. It's good.
Uh, God.
But man, I fucking hate that show. But there was
Log is amazing, and
like,
everybody should have a log.
Toast Man.
I'm just gonna do that for now until I find a good
Bored.
replacement.
Bored.
board.
Bo RD.
Chef Boardi.
God.
Damn.
All right. Any other things I should put in, or I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Ashens and the Quest for the Game Child. It was definitely a movie that existed. It definitely existed, and there's a sequel that maybe someday we'll take a look at. But that's not now. That is
No.
We have other things to look at.
I
So
mean, at this point, we've already actually looked at the game Polybius.
yes, we
so-
have. Although, yeah. Anyway,
Indeed.
so before we head out, Axe, is there anything you want to plug?
Yes, the Autistic Self Advocacy Network and your local SPCA. Please adopt, don't shop.
All right, Coolio.
Yes, there's my radio show, Square Wave Symphony, your home for video games, chiptunes, and all things weird and geeky, which is found at lowbiasgaming.net/squaresim, also at ckdu.ca for the live show. And I also stream twitch.tv/coolumzx.
All right, Bear.
Please play the Sega Master System. It needs some love.
Okay. Torbo.
Twitch.tv/torpidtypist and at torpidtypist on Twitter. And I would rather not plug this hole in my fucking knowledge of it.
All right. Well, so this was episode 99, which there in turn means that the next one we're doing is episode 100, which we are doing
Yes.
a thing that was
Yes.
Good
The-
movie.
top,
Yes.
the highest, or it was the end goal of the quarter one 2022 Retro Inc. Relief. A movie that I've referenced many times as a movie that I would not watch on my own because
You
it is
sure
extremely
have.
not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna be
Sure
watching it
is.
now.
Thing.
We're gonna be taking a look at John Carpenter's The Thing.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
And I am going to be counting how many times you say thing in the
Yeah.
entire review.
I hate that
I'm
I
gonna be
just do it
counting how many times
unintentionally.
Lolo has to look away.
Yeah,
I told you, we gotta fucking Ludovico that bitch.
I wouldn't do that to Lolo.
I would.
I know.
God.
I do it out of love.
Anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. So thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
There we go. If you would like to see the list in which we have ranked every single thing we've done for Media Delta, you can go to r3.ldp.life in your browser. If you would like to watch the sister show that determines what could show up on Media Delta, that's Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can watch it live on Twitch at twitch.tv/LoloToPuzzlo or on YouTube at youtube.ldp.life. If you would like to discuss this episode with others, please join our Discord server by going to discord.ldp.life in your browser, which should give you a link. Thank you again for listening.